She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%. 100%.
Pay-per-view post-show. I fucking love it. Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 173. Today is Thursday, April the 17th. The year is 2025. And I don't know about you, kid, but my allergies are fucking going crazy. How the hell are you doing?
Hey, man. I mean, I always got to give a breakdown of the events. We got Brave CF 93, LFA 207, and Cage Warriors 187. But, I mean, all eyes are on the road to WrestleMania as we lead up to the first night. I mean, it's getting crazy out there.
Oh, it's fucking insane. Tonight in lovely Las Vegas, WrestleMania 41. We will have picks on every single fight. Cannot wait for it. Will John Cena break the record? Will the best to ever do it win? Who will win? We will break down every fight in just a few minutes. But before we do that, we got a great episode for you guys. We'll recap UFC 314 down in Miami. What a fucking card. It lived up to the hype. It was just, I mean, besides our picks, 6-6, me really didn't do the best. But shout out Jerome Ennis. New unified welterweight champion. He had a tremendous fight at Atlantic City, and to be honest, I think he needed it. Last couple performance was not good. We got PFL towards the end of the show, but Joe, I do want to start with a little heavy heart here. This episode I wanted to dedicate to Marvin Vettori's brother, another UFC fighter. He tragically passed away a few nights ago in a house fire at the age of 29. Marvin Vettori put a very, very heartfelt message on Instagram, so I do encourage everyone to go and read that. But very unfortunate, and our thoughts and prayers do go out to the whole Vettori family at this time. And hard to kind of move away from that, but I kind of wanted to shed light on that. UFC 314, kid, we will start in the main event, the featherweight title bout. Alexander Volkanovski is now again unanimous, undefeated, and new champion. 48-47, 49-46 times 2. Man, what a war that was. I'll say this real quick. As much as Diego Lopez had the power advantage, he could not find an answer for that jab. The footwork of Alexander Volkanovski, he led with the jab the whole night. And what I really liked with Volk, he really went after it. He did not care about getting knocked out the last two fights. He went after it and went right in the pocket with Diego Lopez. And I think that's a good sign. He broke the Drake curse. He broke the over 35 curse.
The cover curse.
He broke a lot of the cover curse. He broke a lot of curses. But I thought it was an amazing performance, and he is back at our featherweight champion.
Yeah,
what were your thoughts?
It was a great performance. He wasn't there to get hit except for that one part end of the second round. I'm pretty sure everyone that we were watching together with, we were jumping out of the couch. We were freaking out. We were all pulling for Volk. He's a fan favorite. We all love him, and he went out and proved a lot of us wrong. A lot of the naysayers wrong. We thought, leading up to this, we've been talking nothing about the old era and the changing of the guard with these new era fighters, and Diego Lopez is one of them. We've seen him burst on the scene live 288, and I mean, he's just been a firestorm. Even in his losses, he's put on such amazing fights. We've given him nothing but chances to make his way to the title. So Diego Lopez, I'm sure, will be back. He's young, and he's a guy that they can fit in anywhere at 145. So Volkanovski, man, just a legend that he is. The walkout song. You could make countless jokes about the guy. They were like, oh well, Diego Lopez pulled out against Volkanovski. Who's stepping up? None other than Volkanovski. So that's just a testament to his character. I mean, doesn't matter the challenges. No, mountains high enough and no valleys too low enough for Alexander Volkanovski. Yeah, stuck behind the jab, did everything he needed to do. Like you said, I mean, he kind of lights out performance, like I said, besides that one scare in the second round, but he did everything necessary, and he looked good doing it, honestly. I mean, crisp in there. Like you said, 35 age of what? No, I think he looked like he was 30 again in there. So, yeah, Alexander Volkanovski, man, he could have a defense in his belt. I think if he comes out like that, he very well could beat whoever going to be faced up against him because he's no easy out on the ground. We've seen that when he got out with Ortega submissions, with the brink of death as he would there. I mean, yeah, Volkanovski is no easy out, even at the age. I think he's, the exception and not the rule at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, it was fantastic. I want to know what you scored it because you did mention that second round. I scored a 49-46. The only round I thought you could give Diego was round 4.
Yeah, there was 2. If you wanted to consider the knockdown in round 2, that's, I think, the only 2 rounds are arguable.
90% of that round
was Volkanovski.
So
sometimes a knockdown can win you the round, though. So yeah, I agree. I do think it was 4-1. I think it could be 5-0 if I'm being honest. I was gonna say I think I would give the knockdown round just because it's more significant to Lopez and not give him the 4th round. I agree with you with the 4-1, like you said, possibly 5-0. But you could see how people could have scored him also like that, the 4th and the 2nd round. So it could have been you said it was what a 48-47.
Yeah, so the official scorecard was 48-47 and then 49-46 times 2.
Yeah. So that's why the one judge scored it way some people could have seen it. Maybe those pulling for Lopez a little bit of biases.
Now, I think Diego Lopez will be back. I think he will fight for the belt again. I just wish he fought the way he did later in the round. And you saw it from his coaches screaming, urging him to go for it. But it looked like he was a little hesitant. I don't think we've ever seen this from, puzzled. He couldn't figure out, and every time he wanted to go forward, he just, boom, the jab. Boom, you just couldn't get past the jab. And, he tried to pull out Max Holloway and point to the center of the octagon, but Volk wasn't going to do that. I mean,
no.
you're
he has nothing to prove.
Exactly. But are you surprised Diego Lopez didn't really show us what he's usually showed us earlier in fights?
Well, you could say that, but this is one of the few times we've seen him get to the 5-round fight, right? I think maybe that was in the back of the mind a little bit for him, pacing himself if he just emptied the gas tank, which could, sometimes that's the best game plan because, like you said, whatever game plan he had going there, it could completely shut down. Anyone coming in with a certain game plan, it could be shut down by a beautiful jab. So, yeah, I think it was just completely shut down, and he was worried, tried to collect his bearings when whatever he had set forth wasn't working, and, it just started snowballing over time, and nothing was going for him, and it's just frustration mounts. You get out of your head, you get frustrated. I think your punches become a little slower as well. It was like a clubbing right hand in that second round. It was kind of slow coming in there, and that's why I was like, you saw it coming the whole way. And how could Volk not get out of the way there is what you're saying to yourself in that moment. But yeah, it's just I think a little bit of pacing himself, how good Volk was in there, and the moment. So yeah, it's gonna be a combination of the 3.
But I do want to give the shine to the champ Volkanovski. It was one of his most impressive performances that I have ever seen at the age that he's done it. It was flawless. Besides that one round and that one little slip in the second round, I thought he fought a perfect fight. Diego Lopez looked, like you said, puzzled, kind of confused in there. He's young. He'll be back. He kind of, 5-6 fights, he already fought for the belt.
I was like Steve Erceg, right? Recent guys that are getting these shots, they're proving themselves young in their career, young point of their career. But and also going backstage, man, you just saw the motion and the passion coming from him. So I'm sure he's hungry for a title, and it's just going to be, a few wins he gets under his belt before he's back.
Now, Volkanovski said he did want to be active. He said he has to heal up his hand a little bit. So maybe late 3rd quarter, early 4th, maybe August. He said maybe Sydney, but that's going to be a fight night from everything I've heard. So it doesn't look like the promotion would do that. It has to be Mosfart, Evilo.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. Absolutely.
At a certain point, Joe, what is it? Where the standings, where at a certain point, how many times does it's like a Bilal Muhammad, you got to give him his shot, right? And I know I know a lot of people were like, it could be Yair, he's coming off a win. I know he said Sean Shelby said if he wins, but let's be honest, Evilo is undefeated. He beat Diego Lopez, and he's undefeated. He's 15-0, and the champ said he wants him. So I think that says something too.
To Volk's character yet again, I don't think anyone else really makes much of an argument besides Mosvar. Like you said, Yair, that win, how much of a statement is to Patricio Pitbull? I think maybe looking back, we didn't get him as his prime, as we talked about with Chandler,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
It's just not the Pitbull in the past. And does that win get you a title shot? I agree. I don't think so. I think Mosvar does deserve it. If Volk wants it as well, like, you do everything he asks as the champion now, everything he's done for the UFC, right? I think that's another factor. Volk saying, I want the time. You give that man the time to rest up. And if he's asking for Evloev, and that's going to put a legacy, a fight for him himself, giving everyone their first O's, right? So the only other one that I said makes a case is Laurent Murphy, and there you go. He doesn't deserve it either. If anything, throw that fight together, Yair versus Laurent, and see if Laurent Murphy is ready for the big time in the top 5.
Yeah, we'll see. I think the fight is Mosvar, and we'll see. How do you match that? How do you think that fight goes? Because it kind of reminds me of like a Sean Brady and Bully B, where, to the common folk and to casuals, it's a boring fighting style. You and I think it's entertaining. It's very dominant the way they fight. I think it'd be his toughest challenge to date.
Yeah. There's just the ace on the ground that Mosvar is. We haven't seen anyone match him, right? As deep as he had a submission on Diego Lopez. If Diego Lopez wasn't this tough, I'm pretty sure most people are tapping to that. And he got out of a pretty precarious situation himself in there. So, I mean, he's had pretty entertaining fights the last times out. So you can't say it's not completely entertaining. We always talk about the finish rate, and the UFC always talks about that. But, at the certain level that they're at, this high of a level, the finishes aren't going to come as easy. So, like you said, you got to give the man his due. I don't think anyone else makes much of a case.
And now on the other side, Diego Lopez, co-main spot against Yair Rodriguez. I mean, it's Guadalajara. It makes perfect sense.
It's written on the wall. Why don't you know what I'm saying? Why don't we just go with what's already there, especially the argument they had at the pre-fight press?
They set it all up for us. They did it already. So I know a lot of Yair Rodriguez fans are saying, oh, he's coming off a loss. It doesn't matter. He just fought for the belt. It doesn't matter at that point. And honestly, this is a good fight for Diego Lopez. If he wants another shot at the belt, you go and stop Yair Rodriguez. You are going to go fight for a belt again, especially if Mozart wins.
Yeah, that does nothing but helps you. Exactly. Does nothing but help you. I'm glad we kind of combined the feature bout in the main event, because featherweight division, it makes sense to talk about the two there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could skip the co-main just for a second. So Yair Rodriguez, he gets a unanimous decision over Patricio Pitbull. And I read a lot that underwhelming, not the best performance for Patricio Pitbull. And I would agree, but I didn't think it was that bad. I just think Yair Rodriguez is that much better than Patricio Pitbull, right?
Yeah, more in his prime, quicker, more explosive. Just he had him at the end of all his punches. I think he won most of the exchanges as well. More creative, you know what I mean? Like, I think you kind of understand what Pitbull's going to be throwing at you. Very orthodox, but just bloodthirsty. But if you can move and stay on the outside and play your game, Yair had a good blueprint on the feet. Patricio, you don't understand how good his jiu-jitsu is when it goes on the ground. I'm pretty sure he has some high amount of submissions on the record. But, yeah, Yair, he did what he needed to do. We talk about the finishes. You get someone that's that tough in there. It's like we said, it's not going to come that easy. So, like you said, the only other fights that make sense besides that Laurent Murphy is the one you mentioned, is Yair taking on Diego Lopez. And it could go either way. And maybe there's also a case after that fight that they need one more still, because Diego Lopez coming off the title fight, having the loss and then having a win over Yair, you could say that maybe not deserve it. And then Yair getting the win over Diego Lopez, you say he might need to get one more because we could jump him. We can go with other contenders. So, think about John Silva, right? He could be fresh blood.
He could fight for a belt.
That's what I'm saying. He could jump the line and all together. So that featherweight division's cooking right now.
Yeah, Patricio Pitbull, I think he wants a quick turnaround. He said, hey, listen, it was a good fight. Yair was the better man that night. He gave him his flowers. He said, I'm all healthy. I want a quick turnaround, maybe International Fight Week, maybe August. But he called out $50K. Do you like that matchup? Coming off a big win.
Yeah. We saw what Dan Ige could do, right? And the same card. So right on.
Was this the biggest night for the featherweight division in the UFC outside of Conor McGregor and Aldo?
I mean, damn. I mean, look, earlier in the fight, look at Juicy J, right? He had a hell of a performance too, right? So, I mean, yeah, this card was loaded with featherweights. It makes sense, you know. It worked out. It works out chronologically too when you're making matches. So yeah, it's working out for them well.
Yeah. Shout out Trump. He was in this stance as well. Chief support.
Yes.
Oh, Patty the Bat. I mean, Joe, hand up. I got to start doubting the man. I got to stop doubting the man. I got to stop. I mean, hand up. Oh, man. I think this is the best performance of his career. Yeah. Cage Warriors, everything he's done in the UFC. And you know what it is? He's getting better every fight to put away Michael Chandler where like Charles Oliveira wasn't able to do. And he battered him for 3 rounds until he put him away. Yeah. And his ground game is elite. I think it was flawless from the fight to the whole week leading up to the fight. I think after the fight, who we called out, perfect. I think no showing Ilia Topuria. Like, yeah, I forgot about him. Fuck out of here. You forgot. Everything was amazing. I'm a Patty fan now. Hand up, I'm a Patty fan.
Yeah, he did great. Ilia Topuria made an appearance on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I know.
Bro, he even said that he wants to fight Patty, right? So like that's brewing, right? That's a massive fight. As much as we talked about like when Leon, right? The only thing I could kind of think of that type of hate was with Ian coming up, and now that's completely dissolved. Or maybe it could happen in the future after their next fight, but we'll see. Man, Patty, how could you not be a fan of the dude, right? And the positions where Oliveira struggled a little bit at times in the first round against Michael Chandler, yeah, Patty shined. Patty just absolutely outperformed some of those guys. And yeah, the argument is who he's fought in his last 3, right? They're on a skid, all 3 of those fighters, 0-13, and those last matchups that they've had. So, yeah, there's just elite level competition though. They're fighting some of the who's who of the division, right? And maybe they're a little bit older and stuff like that, but no one's doing these type of things to these athletes like Patty is right now. He's growing into his man's body, and mentally as well. You know, he's got the confidence, right? Yeah. Isn't he still undefeated, right? Paddy Pimblett's an undefeated fighter. Am I wrong?
No, he is, and I think a lot of people kind of jumped off the train, or at least I was never on it, but I saw some when people thought he robbed Jared Gordon. Remember that, where people thought Jared Gordon won the fight?
Jumped off the hype train. Yes.
So I was impressed. I'm a Patty fan now, and at this point, after beating a name like Michael Chandler, he can't fight back. He just can't. You got to give him a big name. I love the call out. Arman Tsarukyan, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje. I don't know about Dan Hooker. We'll see how his hand is. Mateusz Gamrot's always left in the dust. This man wants to fight everyone, but no one wants to fight him. I know the bigger fight is Charles Oliveira. He's one of the superstars in the UFC. People absolutely adore him. But I think the fight to make in a very winnable fight, and if you go and finish him, which I think he could, you get a title fight, is the Justin Gaethje fight.
Yeah, and I heard Ilia saying that as well, right? That Ilia said that, you know, it seemed very vague about him getting guaranteed title shot, right? Ilia Topuria did during that interview.
I mean, Joe, real quick, how do you vacate your belt and not get a title shot?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like everyone else has done it. That's what his point was. He's like every other champion who's done that in the past has gotten the title shot at the higher weight class. So would that not be him with the massive star that he is? So yeah, I agree. I feel like that's what it's going to be. Maybe his wishes come true. Maybe he does get a chance to fight Patty, but that was Ilia's plan, was for him to fight Islam, for Patty to fight Justin. And then the winner of that matchup faces him at the Santiago Bernabeu, I think, you know, where the stadium, you can close it in Spain. He said he'll sell it out 80,000 plus. So I believe it when I hear him say it. So 2 massive stars in the making right here.
Yeah, I believe it. What are your thoughts on the Justin Gaethje, though, Patty Pimblett? Is that the fight you want to see out of everyone he called?
Well, I do think that's probably the more winnable one, right? Because it hits the mat. Gaethje doesn't have that type of grappling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Does obviously Patty want to just stand and collect shots from Justin Gaethje, but he seems to be competent on the feet after what he was doing to Michael Chandler, right?
He was piecing Michael Chandler up.
Like the incorporation of leg kicks and just everything, right? Clinch work, right? Patty seems to have a complete game. So we haven't seen him get into any type of position that worries you. He just, like you said, with the Jared Gordon people hopping off, was him not performing to his best ability. So that's not pause, and that's not real reason to jump off. I mean, he's proven in real time that he is a contender. He's a top 5 lightweight fighter.
I think it all comes down to next month, 315, on what happens in the welterweight division, because I think a part of Islam, he wants to move up, but he's not
He'll
going to
do the
fight
same
his
thing.
friend. He's not going to fight his
If
friend.
JDM wins, he drops the
moving
belt
up.
as well and just goes up to 170.
And then you have Charles Oliveira fight Ilia Topuria for the vacant UFC lightweight championship, right?
yeah,
that's the
you
fight
would,
you make.
instead of because Ilya wouldn't get his Islam fight. Yeah, you're right.
And then the winner of that, regardless, Paddy Pimblett goes and beats Justin Gaethje. Paddy Pimblett's fighting for the belt.
Yeah, that's what you do. You know, Dustin deserves his retirement fight. I'm hearing a lot that it's Max Holloway, and Arman Tsarukyan gets nothing. You get nothing. You lose. Where's that from?
I don't know. Where is it?
Willy Wonka. At the end.
Oh, okay. You get nothing. Yeah.
You lose.
Arman Tsarukyan,
Ow.
Mateusz Gamrot.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Yeah, do it. Throw it together. Arman's gonna have to take a fight. That's my opinion.
But I think this is what the division needed. There was always this one man out, and Paddy comes and brings little light into this. I think this is the best division in the UFC.
And on a skills perspective, you could argue that too. 145, 155, the level of power to speed and everything, and then just the depth of the division. Yeah, you got to be pretty skillful to compete at these weight classes.
John Lord Silva. I mean, what
Wow.
a performance. I mean, the confidence this man breeds in the cage. And I know
It's
Joe
insane.
Rogan, it's insane, Joe. I'm
We
watching
throw the
it.
word aura around a lot, but this
Man breeds aura. and I know people are like, "Oh, Joe Rogan, you're crazy." And I tend not to always agree with Joe Rogan, but he was saying on the broadcast, this man could fight for the belt next. And I'm sitting here like, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning about, the Yair performance and Mosvar even. But yeah, Mosvar deserves a shot. It's just about John Silva next, right? Right after that. If Alex beats Mosvar, you can look at the rest of the division and be like, LeBron Murphy, that's the thing about Mosvar. It's the decisions and not finishes.
Yeah.
John Silva is just killing people out there. It's insane to watch.
I mean, to ninja choke him, all of our parlays for knockout went right out the window. And he goes and submits the guy who is the better ground game, or who, quote, we thought were the better ground game. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest Bryce Mitchell fan, but I didn't think he fought that bad.
No, he did in that first round, right? Like he was getting out of the way.
Those kicks were nice.
Yeah, he was doing some good work on the feet. Surprised a lot of us, right? Try to even take him down, but it's the tenacity. Like it's John Silva wants it more. Whatever, Chris Weidman was talking about trying to get a story across. I mean, there's more like news about that, which is crazy. Man, you can see where it comes from though. That's the thing. Is just this dude wants it more.
100%. And you kind of saw it after the first round. You kind of saw the tables turning like, okay, it's turning to become a finish right now. And I mean, the ninja choke was fucking deep.
Brutal. That looks scary, bro. Bryce Mitchell's been in some scary finishes.
Yeah. And I mean, what's next? I know I heard some people say an Aljo fight or like an Arnold Allen fight. I would love an Arnold Allen fight for Lord Silva, but I love Aljo. Shout out New York, but man, that is not a good fight for him.
No. Man, what can we do, right? What can we do with him?
Arnold Allen. Stand and bang.
Or I mean, like you talked about having a title shot, right? There's not much activity at that top of the division.
I like Lord Silva, but he needs at least one or two more.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What did the guy who's arguing that he deserves a shot and jump is LeBron Murphy? I keep bringing his name up. If you put those two together on their undefeated streaks and records, could they get a title shot off of that fight against one another?
I agree. I think it's great for Silva, but if I'm Laurent Murphy, I'm not taking that fight. I'm not fighting back.
Fair.
You're undefeated.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely. Two different guys that their trajectory may be a matchup in the future. We'll see if that happens.
I brought up Conor McGregor. Shades of Conor McGregor Aldo with Dominic Reyes leaning back with that left and Nikita Krylov. See ya, motherfucker. Dominic Reyes is all the way back. And
How could you deny that man, bro? He's a legend.
And for him to not get a bonus is criminal.
They got to take care of him behind the scene. I mean, come on now. It's criminal.
What were your thoughts on Dominic Reyes
I
being all the
love
way
Dominic
back?
Reyes. I just love the guy so much. Yeah, that's just a testament. Just like Volkanovski, two fantastic stories. Get backs, right? Everything that they've gone through, the finishes that they've endured, to go back and one to become champ and one to have a 3-fight finish streak. I mean, these guys are inspirations. So yeah, Dominic Reyes. I mean, look at the quote he put out in his high school yearbook. I had to
Oh, I
post that up.
saw, yeah, I
That
saw
was
that.
sick, man. So that if that doesn't tell you what type of person he is, man. I mean, that post-fight interview, I was locked into him. He's an emotional dude, and he does it for the fans, for his legacy, for his family. And I mean, he's all in. It doesn't matter, right? The adversity he's gone through, he's all in and he's going to be there. And I like hearing Dominic Reyes back in the top 10 and fighting close to a title. I think that's what the light heavyweight division needed.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's fun. He's entertaining. He goes in there and brings it. He puts it all on the line. And I think you award someone like that, and no one else deserves it more than Dominic Reyes.
And I was talking about Patty being kind of a spark to this lightweight division. Dominic Reyes is a spark to the light heavyweight division. I'm so happy for him, everything he breeds. And he, after losing to John Jones controversially, he goes and gets knocked out viciously. Like everyone's like, oh, Dominic Reyes on the turn. Then to turn it around and have this kind of a spark in his career speaks volumes. I'm happy as hell. He's in the top 10. And to be honest, I think he's one fight away. I was thinking maybe a Rockage, maybe a Carlos Ulberg fight. But what do we think here for Dominic Reyes?
Right? Yeah. Ulberg's there because he doesn't match up. Is Jiri have anything lined up?
No, but I don't think
it seems like Pereira is going to get the rematch, right? That's probably what's going on.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Jan's coming off a loss, right? You said Rockage. I mean, that could work out. But if Dom Reyes, I don't think he gets a title off the Rockage fight. More likely
Ulberg
did. You do punish Ulberg though for that though? If he's gonna fight up, if Reyes is gonna fight Ulberg, or does Ulberg need a fight like that to get the title? Right? I think it could be a title eliminator if they do that. But like I said, maybe Yuri as well is on the table. Maybe even Jan Blachowicz. Well, I don't think Rockage. I know you said Yuri, but look at all he's done, and he did just come off a title fight. It was deserved that he got the title shot off of the Rockage win and on that performance base too. So, I mean, maybe if he gets a Rockage fight, if he absolutely goes through him, maybe you could give him, but I think there's a little more activity now in the division that he can go elsewhere.
Dan Ige gets the no bonus, but he gets the win. Awful stoppage. That's criminal as well. But regardless, he was winning on the scorecards. On all three judges, he was up 2-0.
I'm glad you hit.
Yeah. I got lucky, if I'm being honest. He was on the way to winning, but it shouldn't have been a knockout. That was one of the worst ones I've seen.
He was a dog. Didn't you just take him straight up?
Yeah, I took him straight up, but I'm just saying I did sprinkle a little via KO TKO. But I'm saying I'm not gonna
it was a good performance. Sean Woodson hasn't fought the level of competition Dan Ige has, right? Like there was a massive size advantage and reach advantage, but Dan Ige played into that. And that just goes off fighting who he's fought in his career. More experience, veteran in there, ring generalship, if you would. Talk about ring generals. Yeah, Dan Ige, 50K. He did what he did in there against Sean Woodson.
Kakara Janjiroba. I mean, there's no one else. There is no one else. She needs to fight Zhang Weili. Now, we'll see what happens next month. Because if Valentina winds up being Manel Fiore, Zhang Weili and Valentina are going to fight. And honestly, that's fine if I'm a Janjiroba because I'm waiting. She does not need to fight. You sit back and you wait. There's nothing. Her grappling and wrestling are light years ahead of everyone in that division. I'm sorry.
100%. Yeah.
Anything else on the fight?
No, she's just too slick there. And that single-handedly won her the fight. So,
yeah.
She deserves it, man. This point in her career, she deserves it, man. And she's on some sort of streak right now that it hasn't been matched in quite some time. So, yeah, you got to do that matchup. You got to do that fight. And it'll be another clash of styles. I think pretty much everything going forward with Janjiroba is going to be a clash of styles. Can you handle the barrage of grappling submission attempts that are going to be thrown your way? And not many people can keep up with that. Do have the gas tank for it or have the IQ to be one step ahead, because when it hits the mat, she'll be playing chess while you're playing checkers.
Shout out Chase Hooper after a tough round against Jim Miller. Jim Miller didn't make it easy for the young kid, but
Nah.
Chase Hooper did win unanimous decision, and gotta give credit. Jim Miller is yet to be finished, and
Yeah.
even Chase Hooper was like, dude, this guy is fucking strong.
I shouldn't have taken the under. You know, I didn't see the toughness of Jim Miller. I thought if anything, he would have got the finish, or there would have been maybe a submission that he got caught in, and Chase Hooper would have submitted Jim Miller. But it's a win nonetheless. It's not matter if you win by an inch or if you win by a mile. Winning is winning, and Chase Hooper did just that.
Yeah. Other than that, Julian Erosa, he winds up getting the knockout against Damage Darren Elkins.
What a beast, bro. Julian Erosa story, bro, and a half right there.
By the way, I didn't know
Yo,
Mikhail
right?
Olejniczak
Yo,
is
right?
a fighting nerds.
Yo, he just made my night because I already had hit on the 3 fights prior. So I cashed on the 4-leg parlay, Fade the Americans parlay. We at plus 405. So that hit for us. And when he put the glasses on, I was cheering because Mikhail hit us up on Twitter. He's a real dude. Only 30 years of age, fighting nerds. I think he's found a good camp and he's rejuvenated in that division. Like I said, man, the dude's got power. He's knocked out heavyweight. So if he's fighting at 185, he's going to have that threat to anyone he's squared up against.
Shout out Marco Tulio as well. Big knockout. I mean, Trayshawn Gore has a chin, but man, eventually it came to an end.
Yeah, it's just the Tulio he's got credentials, man. He's been being a Muay Thai fighter, I think, for some time over there in Brazil. So yeah, you come into Dana White Contender Series, get a knockout. I'm sure he himself is on a knockout streak. So another contender injected into these rankings. So let's see.
Overall, great performance by everyone. I go 6 of 6, even Steven. After everything, I was just lucky to come out even, if I'm being honest. But it was a great card. How did you do?
Yeah, I had a very green weekend, brother. You mentioned Jaron Boots Ennis. I had him in my pound-for-pound ranking, and I think that statement win earned him a spot there. You can't say otherwise. He's definitely a top 10 pound-for-pound fighter. So, man, I went 6-0 on my straight bets. I missed on the props for you guys, 0-3 there, but 500 in total is 1-1. Didn't have any leans. Haven't had one for a while. Been making official plays. Hit on that parlay, as I mentioned, at plus 405 and even 10 seconds left with the Jaron Boots Ennis. So overall, 9-4, had a really good weekend.
Hell yeah, love to see it. Shout out Amanda Nunes as well. She will be inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame this summer. I think she's the last one, I think. Well deserved. She's the GOAT. She did tell friend of the show, Aaron Bronsteiner, that she will return to the UFC. Dana White confirmed it at the press conference as well. She's going to get the winner of Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison. What fight do you want to see? Obviously, you got the gym story with Kayla Harrison. Then you got the trilogy with Juliana Pena. I want to see I know a lot of people want to see the Kayla Harrison. I want to see the trilogy.
The trilogy, actually, I think Pena could probably sell it a little more, right? She could maybe say some more hurtful things. I think that's the thing about Kayla Harrison. I think she proves it out there, but I don't feel like she necessarily gets nasty when it comes to the trash talk, right? She's an Olympian wrestler. That's more of her game, being very professional, right? So I'm gonna go the opposite though. Even though the promos may not be as fiery, I do feel like it's a fight we wanted to see for quite some time. We already have seen Pena fight Nunes, and the amazing victory that was for her the first time with the Venezuela Vixen, but then Nunes
tapped her out,
righting the wrong and getting it back and proving the legend that she is. So I actually got to see something new, right? We argued, and if Kayla Harrison can be Amanda Nunes, I think you're going to put the hat in for maybe a little Chris Cyborg again, and maybe even Larissa Pachenko. We always mentioned back in the past, those kind of that four-headed monster at the top there of that weight class for the women's. So
Juliana Pena made this girl retire. That's what I'll die on that.
Okay.
That's why she ran, tapped her ass.
All
out.
right. All
right, kid. Before we get to WrestleMania 41, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or an elderberry watching WrestleMania 41, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink, I believe, here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid. WrestleMania 41.
Yo, brother, before you get started,
Yeah.
I got a trivia question for you.
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
3 wrestlers tied for second with the most WrestleMania wins. I'll tell you 2 of them. You got to give me the third wrestler. One of them being Triple H,
Okay.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley, and the other being John Cena. Like I said, both have 10 wins. Can you name me the third?
Who's tied for second?
Yeah, with 10 WrestleMania
So,
wins.
One is Undertaker, right?
Yeah,
Number 2 or tied.
and he
for
and number 2 had technically has the better record of the ones I just mentioned between John and H.
So number 2 is tied with Triple H and John Cena. Is he active or non-active?
I mean, sort of actually.
The
so-
Rock.
No.
Can I get one more guess because I didn't want to guess when you said kind of. Shawn Michaels.
No, she's not active at all. The
No.
reason why I said sort of because I asked you this because he's your boy. You think you know me? Edge has 10 WrestleMania wins and a
wow.
better record with only 4 losses. So
Oh, I
yeah, that's
love
why
that.
I was like sort of because he's not with the WWE. He's with the other one. The other.
All
one.
right, I'll 1-0 Joe. I'll be back next week with a trivia question for you. But yeah, that was good. I love that. All right, kid. April 19th, 2-night event. Call me old school, but I missed the 1 night Sunday
I do.
night.
Yeah, the spectacle.
Yeah. But all right, it's where is it? It's at the Allegiant Stadium, the
Woo.
Black Dome in Las Vegas. Big matches. Night 1, triple threat match between Seth Rollins, the best to ever do it. And put your finger up, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Kid, where do we want to start?
Anywhere you
Night 1.
wanna
We're not gonna
start.
we're not
Not
gonna
in
do-
order.
No. Let's do the World Tag Team Champions, the War Raiders,
Yeah.
versus the New Day. What do we got here, kid?
Well,
What do we like?
rebranding themselves without Big E, right? Not even the
Yeah.
New Day. It's just
It's
New Day.
New Day.
New Day. Yeah, so Woods and Kingston are just absolute professionals. We talked about that all the time. They deserve to get this victory here. They're another WrestleMania moment for the lot of them. War Raiders have set this rivalry up perfect for them to lose the belts at the grandest stage of them all. So, yeah, I'm going with New Day here. I think they deserve it. I think it could be an upset in some eyes, but like I said, I think we're going to have a talks about who is the greatest tag team of all time at the end of the day. There's going to be a lot of teams to be mentioned at the top.
I mean,
they're
has any recent angle been as disappointing as New Day's heel turn? I mean, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods, it seemed destined for a split, only to instead grow closer to Big E. It was brilliant execution, heel turn for kind of like a long life baby face. Everything went completely flat after that. Pushing New Day into a story with War Raiders, who are basically forgotten champions on Raw, hasn't done anything to build momentum. But the most interesting thing you could do for New Day at this point is for them not to win the tag belts and have a reason to continue ragging. So I'm going to take the War Raiders here to retain the titles. I'm going to go with the favorite. Yeah, and still. Where do we
Sweet.
go? Let's go with the women. Jade Cargill versus Naomi. I'll let you lead this one off.
Yeah,
What do
I
you
mean,
got?
some bad blood cooking there, right? It came out that Naomi betrayed Jade Cargill, got her hurt behind the scenes, behind the stage, and she's back for a vengeance after she, won everything that she needed to get back right. So, I think Naomi has more experience in this moment, right? And she could pull out some stops and make you think that she can pull off a pin, but you got to go Jade Cargill in this to showcase her dominance, give her first WrestleMania moment, and probably prop her up to start for the titles, right? I think Jade Cargill has that potential. So getting a win over Naomi at WrestleMania does just that.
Yeah, same side. Give me Jade Cargill here. I think she wins. Cargill and Naomi quietly cooking up one of more compelling storylines. I think it's kind of been overshadowed by bigger names and, progressive stuff down the stretch, but I think this match demands attention. You know, it's the circulation of a long-winded mystery, which kind of included Jade Cargill. Explosive. She when she came to the Elimination Chamber and Naomi, you know, she got rushed into the madness. I think building Cargill in this match is kind of the primarily goal for the promotion. So Cargill, she's a star. It screams off the page, and Naomi can be trusted to kind of, you know, guide her to a solid win. So I'm going to take Jade Cargill here. I need help pronouncing this. Let's go Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right, what do you got?
I mean, you know, you would probably think that this unknown, you know, character is going to lose to the legend of Rey Mysterio. I mean, the greatest luchador of all time, right? Rey Mysterio is obvious shoo-in for a victory here. Not so fast. I mean, I'm all in on El Grande Americano, right? The big American is just out of this world, lights out. You know, should have been in the WWE roster all along. I don't know what he was doing and where he come from, but I mean, you give this man his WrestleMania moment, though it'll be one of the biggest twists and upsets that you've ever seen at the grandest stage of them all. So, yes, give me the luchador, the newcomer, El Grande Americano. Who could that be?
Yeah, there are a few modern angles, you know, to pro wrestling as El Grande Americano, the masked wrestler who is obviously the man claiming to not be under the mask, but there's only so far you could carry this kind of angle without burning it out, in my opinion. And that means Mysterio should get the win here, and I think Chad Gable should be the consequences of his actions. You know, we know who it is. I'm gonna take Rey Mysterio. I'm gonna go on the other side. I'm gonna take Rey Mysterio.
I like
here.
that. It's such a good one though, right there.
Yeah. Let's where do we go? Now we're getting to the belts, kid. Let's go to the United States champions, LA Knight. Yeah, taking on Jacob Fatui. I mean, dude. Have you seen this kid live?
Bro, he's a treat, dude. And to beat Braun Strowman the way he did, last man standing, you do that to the monster among men.
This guy is a fucking unit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, the crowd loves him, right? I love him. I think the wrestlers backstage love him, right? Obviously, the corporate side loves him. They're pushing him for a title because I think he's going to be LA Knight. I think Jacob Fatu is on an absolute roll. I think you need to get the United States title some life. You know, LA Knight's kind of back and forth has been a little stagnant towards the end here. So, you know, you mentioned a little of that movement before in some other fights, though we're opposite sides. Yeah, I'm taking Jacob Fatu. Inject me some new blood in this U.S. title picture.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Fatu, I think he has the most potential of anyone on the roster. We talked about aura. This man's aura is immense. I mean, his athleticism is remarkable. His mic skills are rugged a little bit, but I think he's on his way up, and I don't think there's anything that could stop him. It's a shame Knight, who I think is worthy of a good U.S. title run, must be sacrificed here, but it's Jacob Fatui's time. He's going to win the belt, and there's no one I would rather have. There's no one I lost my words. These allergies are killing me. There's no one I would have more to represent the United States title than Jacob Fatu.
Okay.
I love him. Where do we go? Let's go back to the women's. The WWE Women's Championship. The Queen, Charlotte Flair, taking on Tiffy time. Tiffy, baby. I think you might know where I am going, so I will let you lead it.
But am I going the same route? You know, I'm very torn in this one. I'm under the impression that you should keep the belt on Tiffany Stratton, right? You build a star by beating other stars, and who other than, you know, the most reigning champion in the women's division in Charlotte Flair. I think that's what we should do for Tiffany Stratton. It should be Tiffy time, but the Queen gets what she wants, and I think she wants the title. I think what she says means a lot, and she's on her retirement tour. Let's be real. She came back so she could win a title and then maybe defend it or have another match for it and then in the future. But I think you give her another title reign, and she goes down as the greatest women's wrestler of all time as it stands currently. Give me the Queen, Charlotte Flair, to be and new WWE Women's Champion.
Wow, wow, wow. I would love that. And let's be honest, Joe. The women's title program has kind of been a little messy. You know, it's a shame considering how much support Stratton has rallied from the fans. Inserting Charlotte Flair, the queen, into this world title program kind of gives it instant credibility, but I'm going to go the other side. There isn't enough upside for her to win. For whatever reason, the audience doesn't seem to connect with Charlotte Flair
Not at all.
anymore. Stratton should get the nod over, I'm going to count them, 14-time world champion to elevate her stock. I think she helps her win and puts over Tiffany Stratton. I'm going to go and still Tiffy time. I think as much as I would love it because I'm the biggest Charlotte Flair fan, I think Tiffany Stratton does win it.
She can get her WrestleMania moment. And then if Charlotte's still sticking around in the title picture, you could have her win it off on a show a Monday after, which is always exciting to see, or another pay-per-view, maybe SummerSlam if you want to wait that long. But you could make a little more of the storyline out of this. So
2 more fights or matches, I should say, for night 1. Let's go to the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defending his title against main event Jey Uso. Are we going to be yeeting or are we going to be and still?
As you talked about resonating with the fans. No one's resonating more with the fans than Jey Uso, right?
It's insane.
All we can imagine is the crowd going absolutely berserk and yeeting along with Jey Uso as he holds up the title and being main event Jey Uso, as we all know and love. And I think that's what maybe our fanships want. We want to have the pop for Jey Uso, and we want to do this. And we know the WWE being as heartless as they always are. I think Gunther is one of the most dominant champions of the 21st century. I think we talked about ring generalship. He is the ring general. I don't think there is anyone that comes close to what he can do in there. And if there wasn't so much eyes on the other storyline with the other main event, I think this dude deserves to headline a WrestleMania. I think he's talk about ceilings. He's at a point where he is almost the face of the company, and I don't feel like he's done. So I know the thing about burning out, as you mentioned, right? The Jey Uso, like the El Grande Americano, could burn out so sudden on us, but having such a dominant champion as Gunther can be may not, and have these wrestlers chasing the world heavyweight champion. I'm going and still. I think we're breaking hearts here at WrestleMania 41. It's a gamble I'm willing to take, especially that we're in Las Vegas. I think Gunther rips the heart out of the fans and reclaims his title, and I think beats Jey Uso. Wow. And the story, falls on its face for Jey.
I love it. It was shocking. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. It was crazy. I was happy for Jey when he won the Royal Rumble. And I figured him a lock to win and have his great WrestleMania moment. Then as you watch Raw, then the angle kind of cooled off a little bit, which kind of worried me. And then in recent weeks, the WWE kind of got its fire back going. Then Gunther, he had the attack on Jimmy. All that being said, I don't think it feels like Uso's title win is in the cards, since there needs to be a hotter challenger to take the title from him. So I agree. And still, I think Gunther wins this. I don't care what the odds say. Gunther's a big underdog, and I just don't think they take away the belt from him. So give me the dog.
Catch that. I would put money on Gunther. I put my money on Gunther. Like, if you ask me most times if Gunther is going to face someone else, I would feel more comfortable putting money on Gunther. He's got a way better record and just precedent of doing this. He's a savage, bro. He really is.
He really is.
So,
last fight, main card, main event. I'm saying main card like this is UFC. Seth Rollins, triple threat match between Seth Rollins, our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and the best to ever do it, CM Punk. Joe, I think you might know where I'm leaning.
I know you're going CM Punk. I already know it there, but there's just a lot brewing here, right? It's like, who will Paul Heyman sign with, right? Like, he's been with CM Punk, he's been with Roman Reigns, and then I'm hearing this angle of everyone's spinning on its head and throwing a curveball as the WWE does. I think this main event bleeds into night two's main event a lot. I'm not trying to spill the beans entirely, but I think this triple threat will weigh a lot into night two's main event. Roman Reigns is just the absolute dominant alpha dog, right? Top tribal chief. I mean, everything you could say about him. It's like, how could you have this guy lose at WrestleMania, right? He's at 9 in WrestleMania wins already. That's insane, right? So one more win, he'll be in the 4 up there with WrestleMania victories. But I don't think there's onus on getting him a victory in this situation. I do feel like CM Punk could easily win, and Seth Rollins could as well. With CM Punk winning, it's a little bit of a nostalgia. Him maybe teaming up with Paul Heyman. I don't really see him being involved with night 2 and everything that's going on with that storyline. I think there maybe is a little bit more with Roman and Seth Rollins. Now, CM Punk, right? He deserves this favor of getting the main event, and they didn't say nothing about a main event victory, right? A WrestleMania main event, period. So I'm out on CM Punk, man. I am. I think it's really between Roman Reigns, because I really feel like with Roman Reigns, you can lead up to the trilogy fight between he and Cody Rhodes. But man, I do agree. I think that the WWE is notorious for throwing us curveballs, and I feel like Seth freaking Rollins could come out victorious in this triple threat and possibly sign with Paul Heyman. But we could see, man. I feel like there could be some tricks up the sleeve of someone in night 2. We could see what happens there.
Yeah, WWE loves to make a splash to end the first night of WrestleMania. And what bigger splash would there be to have Paul Heyman help Seth Rollins win? Rather than picking a side between Punk and Roman Reigns, everyone has been manipulating Paul Heyman in one way or another. But Seth Rollins is the most honest about his motivations. And, as much as a fan and diehard CM Punk fan I am, he finally gets his WrestleMania main event, and Roman Reigns is given fuel to move forward. And Seth Rollins is once again kind of the architect in this kind of plan. I agree. Give me Seth freaking Rollins. I think he wins this, and he gets his WrestleMania moment. So that is night 1, kid.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're not done.
We're not fucking done. Where do we go? Let's start with the singles match between your boy Logan Paul against AJ Styles. What are we thinking here?
AJ Styles has a 4-4 WrestleMania record. Logan Paul has a 2-1 WrestleMania record. I believe he's tied with Damian Priest. I actually feel like Logan Paul, like, he might have that one loss, but I feel like you got to keep him winning in these big moments, and just the nuclear heat that he can, occur. I feel like you got to give Logan Paul a victory at WrestleMania here over AJ Styles, because everyone's going to hate it. And I think that's what you do to keep the visceral going. So as much as though the AJ Styles is going to be the better wrestler in there, I think Logan Paul is going to kind of make a mockery of it and try to copy him and maybe hit AJ with own finisher. We got to see if it's the Phenomenal Forum or if it's a Styles Clash. But I feel like Logan Paul is going to do something dirty in there and something that will do anything to get the victory. So yeah, Logan Paul, keep the bad heat going. Give him a WrestleMania win.
Yeah, he's going to get his first WrestleMania win, and they've had numerous runs in recently. Styles, he rescued Andrew Schultz from Logan Paul the other time on Raw. I don't know. I agree. I think Logan Paul does win this fight against AJ Styles and kind of has his moment. Where do we go?
Do the singles again.
Yeah, let's go to what? Oh, you want to go to another singles?
Yeah.
Damian Priest.
Yeah.
Taking on the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre. I mean, I'll start this one, kid. Tensions between Damian Priest and McIntyre, they date back to WrestleMania 40. Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins to win the World Heavyweight title last year, but didn't really enjoy his WrestleMania moment for long. Damian Priest successfully, obviously, cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on McIntyre that night. Then, Damian Priest, he continued to be a thorn in McIntyre's side. Damian Priest, he eliminated Drew McIntyre in the Royal Rumble and then the Chamber match as well. And Drew McIntyre, he got his revenge at the Chamber, hitting the Claymore kick that kind of allowed Logan Paul, talking about him, to pin Damian Priest. And, SmackDown general manager, what's his last name?
Nick Aldis.
Aldis.
Yeah.
I think he made a match official that night because of the aura and history that these two have.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great match, but give me the Scottish Psychopath. I think Drew McIntyre wins this fight.
Yeah, I think he's a bigger moment wrestler. I think you're gonna have two different trajectories with those at 2-1, as I mentioned, with Logan Paul getting a victory and Damian Priest losing. He'll wind up going 2-2. I just think that, in the words of old Jim Ross, it's gonna be a slobber knocker for real between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. One of the more hard-hitting matchups we're gonna have this evening. I feel like the other one that could match up, which we didn't mention, the Gunther and Jey Uso, I feel like that's gonna be hard-hitting, but this one right here may outdo that one and others. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a great singles matchup. Two colossal guys, and yeah, I'm going with the Scottish Psychopath, Drew McIntyre, to get the victory at WrestleMania.
All right, let's take a championship. Women's World Championship. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair. We also have no, that's it. Let's just do those.
It's a triple threat.
Yeah, it's a triple threat.
Yeah, like the main event for night one. Want me to start it off?
I'll go. I think
go.
Io Sky, she cashed her ticket to WrestleMania. She defeated Rhea Ripley, mommy, for the Women's World Championship. And Bianca Belair, she earned her way, with the grind stage. She won the Elimination Chamber.
Yes.
Rhea Ripley demanded a rematch after becoming, a stitch in her sky. And regardless of how she got there, I think the triple threat match for the top prize of the Raw's women belt, I think it's going to be one of the best matches of the night.
Yes.
Keep an eye on Bianca Belair there. She's teased the heel turn of late, but more importantly, for the sake of this event, undefeated at WrestleMania and seeing to leave the showcase, I think she's going to win it for a fourth time and she's going to get gold. And I think she's going to kick off the night with a banger. The EST, I think Bianca Belair wins.
I think the Elimination Chamber wins heavy. I think you're right. I was very torn with Bianca Belair, but, Io Sky being injected into the matchup, I think makes for the exciting, head-to-head clash that we'll get. I mean, Rhea Ripley found her way in here, but she can afford a loss right here in this moment in time. So I do think it's between Io Sky and Bianca Belair. So I think Rhea Ripley is actually going to be the one to collect the pin, but I'm going to go the opposite. I'm going to take Io Sky. Just her coming from behind and not expecting her. I feel like, I forgot about the undefeated record for Bianca Belair, man. I think that is pretty crazy, and they can maybe do something with that if they do give her the nod here. But yeah, I'm going to go Io Sky. I'm going to go opposite of you. I just think that, they won't continue. The only one that can have that WrestleMania record. So they're not going to go with an undefeated women's Undertaker.
Let's go to the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship between Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, champions, taking on Bayley and Valkyria. What do you think here, kid? I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, man. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez have been up to no good, right? It's just them getting involved with a lot of the women throughout the roster and just making a bad name for themselves. And they've proven to be good together. They work well as champions, defending champions. I just feel like, Lyra Valkyria is one of those, NXT superstars that graduated to the main roster that deserves a push in every which way. And she's a really good fundamental wrestler. Being teamed up with Bayley just feels like they're going to be more on the same page and just going to have more at their disposal to win it when it hits the technicality of the match. So, maybe some entertaining value with how, like I said, the ruckus that Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez caused to keep them as champions. But I think we need to get some and new champions in the WrestleMania. So I'm going to go and new Bayley and Lyra Valkyria.
All right, let's go to the next one. I have no play in that one. I was leading Liv Morgan and Raquel.
Do you think that Randy Orton, I've been hearing that he may have a matchup with like Nick Aldis or something, as you mentioned before. Do you think that's going to happen?
It's so tricky because I really wanted to see that Kevin Owens match, and he
I hope
obviously
speedy
was.
recovery for him, man.
Yeah, that's a legitimate neck
Yeah, that's
injury.
no joke. Yeah.
He said apparently he needs surgery as
Look what happened
well.
to Edge. Look what happened to
Yeah.
Paige, right? Everyone, you got a neck thing. It's pretty much.
Do you
It's not
think the
good.
general manager comes out of retirement for this fight?
They could give him a WrestleMania moment because that's the thing. If it's him, I think he'll beat Randy, right? But then Randy punts his head and we get a heel turn.
But what about Solo Sikoa? He's kind of been poking around as well.
Yeah, they could do that matchup if Nick's not ready for it. They could easily just throw that together, right? So,
Yeah.
low key, Randy Orton is that guy. We talk about John maybe getting the dub and be breaking the record, but Randy Orton sticks around. He's a lifer for the WWE. He could be the one that easily breaks records in the future. We could see.
All right, let's go to the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, the Destructor, taking on Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio, and Penta. Is that how you pronounce it?
Penta.
Penta.
Get it right because he's going to be the Intercontinental Champion.
Wow, what do you got?
Yeah, I got Penta winning. I think maybe you can argue Braun Breaker defends because you don't take the title off of a guy if he's not ready to jump up. But I feel like Braun Breaker could be injected anywhere, right? You could put him in the main title card or you can leave him mid card. I don't think he loses any value. I really don't. He's just that special of a talent. Finn Balor is going to be the veteran in there. He's going to be, directing everybody. Dominic Mysterio is the wild card to me. We talked about Logan Paul getting some heat. Man, talk about nuclear heat. If you give him the Intercontinental Championship, bro, the amount of boos that he'll be deafening. You would never be able to hear these guys speak. So I think that's a wild card, but it's just time and place to give Penta his WrestleMania moment. He breaks into the WWE. He proves himself worthy as a champion, and the fans absolutely adore him. I mean, merch and all this, I think weighs a lot in their eyes, and I think you give Penta a push here at WrestleMania. So, yeah, new Intercontinental Champion, Penta.
Ooh, wow, I did not expect that. Penta, he's been red hot. He's been red hot ever since debuting, and recently announced that he was targeting the Intercontinental Championship, and I thought that was very interesting. Finn Balor, he also had his sights on the title as well. And although he lost to Breaker in the March Championship fight, he recently pinned Penta in a tag team match after Braun Breaker accidentally hit Penta with a spear. So I don't know. I'm going to take Braun Breaker here. I think he gets the job done. I like Penta. I think the organization likes him, but not here, not at WrestleMania. I think maybe at SummerSlam.
Yeah, right. Like I said, if you're not ready to graduate Braun Breaker, you don't relinquish the title per se. I think history says that. You leave him as champ.
And we will end it with the main event. There's no other person we should be talking about here. The Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, taking on John fucking Cena. I mean, this has been the most talked about moment coming out of Elimination Chamber. Obviously, when Cena turned heel, Cena won the chamber, secured his try to become the 17th world title. How can I not take Cena here? I mean, they don't make him win at Elimination Chamber, and they don't make him turn heel for him not to win at WrestleMania and break the record. And I think Cody Rhodes could win it back at SummerSlam, but it's not going to be WrestleMania. He had his moment. He's been a great champion, but this is John Cena's time to break the record. It's his last year in the company. Give me John Cena, 18 time.
I love it, man. I knew you were going to go John, man. You can't deny him and his greatness. But I just don't see John Cena even getting to the match. I have something that I said ties in from night one, and that's Seth freaking Rollins coming in and stealing John Cena's spot, but not stealing it as he is all part of the plan. He is remember, there's one more, The Rock's backup plan. Remember this. There's one more. And that's what I said the wild card is. If Seth Rollins comes out victorious, may he sign with Paul Heyman and we get like the next level of corporation type authority, Paul Heyman, John Cena, The Rock, and Seth Rollins as their forefront because he's still in the prime of his career and they're forgotten about child being honest with Paul Heyman. It's like you could easily say Roman Reigns, but I don't think Roman Reigns as the tribal chief is willing to fall in under Rock. I really don't think that even Rock has acknowledged him as the tribal chief. So I don't feel like he's willing to fall in line with whoever. And wouldn't it be perfect for him to be betrayed by them and Paul Heyman, right? I think that builds up more of a story. And, we could put the trilogy with him and Cody Rhodes on hold. If CM Punk comes out victorious of that triple threat, it doesn't really make sense. That's why I'm completely out on him. I think if you look back at previous WrestleMania 40, if it wasn't for Seth freaking Rollins, Cody Rhodes might not have been able to become champion. He might not have been able to beat Roman Reigns, right? Roman, getting involved, and then also Roman choosing to spear Seth and not Cody, right, to defend the title, I think weighs a lot. So you look at Seth Rollins, like, I deserve to be champion. I've been sought after all this time, but yet I've been the workhorse. Everyone else has been part-time. Cody hasn't, but everyone else has been, part-time. Meanwhile, I'm here every night, in and out. I deserve this moment of time. And Seth Rollins has done it before. Look what he did with the Authority, as we mentioned with Triple H, giving him the Money in the Bank and him cashing in. Talk about getting his WrestleMania moment. He'll steal it again for his second WrestleMania moment. That is Seth freaking Rollins. So I'm not even confident John Cena makes it to the match, to be honest with you. I think they switch up on Cody because all along Rock wanted Cody as his corporate champion. He said it to Cody. And remember all the whispers and everything? I don't necessarily say that much of a double cross with Cody Rhodes turning heel out of nowhere. I do think that there's something brewing, something sinister brewing here. And I just, for some reason, see John being out of the picture and something else coming in here. But at the end of the day, with all that being said, no one's beating Cody Rhodes. I'm picking Cody Rhodes to beat everybody.
Wow.
Cody Rhodes is the absolute best. I consider him one of the greatest wrestlers. I think he's my personal favorite, man. He's just fantastic to watch. And I mean, him just defeating all odds. He got a champion who is now chasing. I mean, it would be rightful and build a star that Cody Rhodes is if he can defend his title against all odds. I mean, yeah, I'm taking Cody Rhodes if it is John to beat him soundly. And if it is Seth Rollins, though, more controversy to him to still wind up victorious in defending his belt. It's going to be life or death, take the belt off of Cody Rhodes' hands. So I'm taking Cody Rhodes till death.
Love it. Joe, good luck. WrestleMania 41, April 19th and 20th. Main card starting at 7 p.m. on the Peacock. Got some news before we get up out of here. Main event, Gilbert Duranio Burns will take on Michael Morales, UFC Vegas 106 at the Apex, May 17th, 5-round welterweight main event. Do not like this fight for Gilbert Burns.
No, man. Morales is a absolute juggernaut, bro. He doesn't care if you hit him once. He'll take one to give one. And sometimes you can't even touch him because he's just so big for that weight class too. And I mean, he's an excellent striker, all around athlete. Yeah, I don't think it's a good matchup for Burns, man. When we talk about changing the guard, that's a big fight for it.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if we have we have no odds yet, but I'm assuming Morales will be a favorite. So
yeah.
On Tuesday, the UFC is now able and free free to speak with potential broadcasters with the exclusive renegotiation period with ESPN is now over. The UFC is reportedly looking for a deal upwards to $1 billion a year for the new deal. Where do you think the UFC will land? Maybe Netflix, Amazon?
Yeah. I don't feel like Amazon is going to be able to match Netflix for some reason. I feel like Netflix will be able to outbid and secure the rights. I feel like that's where they're going to go. I think we already seen it, right, with the WWE, right? Didn't they do
and it
stuff
looks
on
good,
Netflix?
the
Product looks good. More people can see it. I think it looks good on numbers because it's not no way to do a Nielsen system rating. So you could just have it based off how many users there are, and even if they're not watching live. So yeah, I feel like that's the route that they're going to go. Yeah. TKO is going to probably coincide with Netflix.
Yeah, I agree. I think Netflix is the move. So we will see there, and they're going to get a lot of money. And I think pay-per-view is going to go away now. Everything's just going to go.
That would be interesting. But would that be the same for the WWE as well as the UFC? Right? They'd both be on the same kind of system. Yeah. They'd be in Netflix, so they wouldn't be a need to pay for pay-per-views. You just need to have Netflix.
Exactly. So love it. Boxing news. Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, they are in the process of finalizing a deal for a rematch this summer. undisputed heavyweight title rematch will go down at Wembley Stadium July 12th. What a scene.
I like it at Wembley. That's fun. Yeah, this is a fight that's needed, and Usyk will take on all comers. And Dubois, he wants to get his name etched in the record books. It's going to be all odds against Dubois, I think, in that one. And Usyk can play his style and make the fight his, but don't sleep on Dubois. I think it's going to be competitive. I feel like this is a sleeper type of fight. I think Usyk's going to be a massive favorite, with me thinking that Dubois is live. You know how I've hit on him a couple of times as a big dog. So will I do it again? I got to see it when we get closer to the fight.
All right, that's all I got, Joe. PFL, 10 seconds left, Friday night. Better card, I would say.
More recognizable names,
yeah.
Going for them.
Friend of the show, Clay Collard is fighting.
Yeah.
Fabian Edwards, is this his time?
I don't know, man. I'm not really touching that one. I think Impa Kasaganai might have an edge, but my plays are in the feature bout. Dalton Rosta, he's a dog taking Asada Busi, -125. I don't think too many people know about Dalton Rosta, so I think he can surprise a lot of people. And also, Josh Silveira is a little heavy a favorite in my eyes. Mike Shipman, I like kick his ass, Seabass as well at +195. So I took 2 dogs there out of all the other plays that there are this evening. So maybe we can make some plus money, and I can go 2-0 in 10 seconds left.
Hey, let's keep it rolling. Note real quick, we are back to regular schedule programming next week and throughout until something comes up. But Fridays, we are back to regular at 2:30 Eastern. Joe, any big plans Easter weekend, kid?
Man, just doing stuff around town at the church, locked in for WrestleMania. Yeah, man, it's going to be a good weekend. Easter Sunday, like you said, yeah, it's going to be great.
Oh, I'll be driving down and passing you by South Carolina. I'm driving to Florida, so I will have a good weekend in the Sunshine State. Everyone, enjoy the fights this weekend. Good luck on your bets, and we will see you guys next week.